Y'all come here and box me up real quick, probably clip me, then go home.
As a business, I understand. I ain't gonna hate on the decision, but as a man
Your
and
pride
as
will
a
get in the way.
fighter with my integrity.
Jake Paul is trading punches with Shakur Stevenson as he prepares for the biggest fight of his life against Gervonta Davis. To mirror Tank's speed and power, Jake handpicked Shakur as his sparring partner, hoping to fine-tune his timing and defense. After 5 relentless years in the ring, Jake believes this training could be the difference. Focused and fearless, he's chasing something bigger than a win. He's chasing respect. And in his mind, the only way to earn it is to shock the world by knocking out Gervonta Davis and proving he truly belongs among boxing's elite.
Or like you said, a guy who is shorter than you. How do you find a sparring opponent to replicate something that obviously, there's nobody else out there that's Tank Davis? How do you prepare for a guy that's different stature-wise?
Yeah, no, we have world champions. Raymond Ford in the 130-pound weight class. We got Montana Lovin. Shakur Stevenson is coming in this week. So
Wow.
just sparring against guys on their level and people who have, been doing this their whole entire lives. But we're really focusing on speed, and not as much on power. I'm not doing as much like weightlifting and all of that stuff. I'm actually trying to like lose some muscle so that I have less weight and so that
Jake Paul's journey from social media star to serious boxer has been nothing short of remarkable. He's already stacked up multiple official wins, proof of just how much he's grown and how hard he's worked. No matter the criticism, Jake keeps pushing, training like a man obsessed with quieting every doubter. Now, as he steps toward the toughest test of his career, Gervonta Davis, the stakes have never been higher. This isn't just another fight for Jake. It's his moment to shock the world again and show just how far his skill, power, and dedication have taken him.
the world and even shock myself and show myself what I'm capable of.
When you picture how it goes down, is there something that you see yourself doing? Do you see yourself knocking him out? Do you imagine being victorious? And what would that mean for you? A guy, again, who has only been in this sport for a couple of years. You've turned it on its head. You've had a massive impact, clearly, in just a few years, but it's only been a few years. That's the bottom line.
No, exactly. This is my 5th year as a pro. And so I've had to progress faster than anyone else in the sport to be able to compete at this level and to be able to hang in there with these guys. But I do believe that I have the power and the offense to be able to walk Tank into a knockout like I've done with other opponents and set them up for it. And so I am fully confident in my ability, and I think it would be one of the craziest upsets in a long time.
Yeah, one of the craziest upsets ever, probably in many people's eyes. Well, I think I saw Cardi B just put a $250,000 bet down. It was a parlay, I believe, on Aspen all over Cyril Gahn. But then for Tank to beat you, have you seen that? And what do you think about Cardi B potentially placing a $250,000 bet here?
I didn't know.
Jake Paul has just brought Shakur Stevenson into his training camp, a bold move that shows he's taking this preparation more seriously than ever. According to Paul, it was Stevenson who reached out, eager to join the grind, adding a sense of real authenticity to Jake's training journey. To mirror Gervonta Davis's lightning-fast southpaw style, Jake has filled his camp with skilled left-handed fighters, each one pushing him to master new angles, footwork, and counterpunch timing that match Tank's rhythm. His mindset has evolved too. Now it's all about discipline, movement, and conditioning, not just raw power. With Stevenson's sharp technical skill guiding him, Jake's unorthodox boxing style is finally getting a professional edge, a clear sign he's chasing greatness at the sport's highest level.
We got some great guys coming in, some really experienced southpaws that are smaller. I think Montana Love is coming in. Shakur Stevenson wants to come in. Jermaine Ortiz. We're going to hit up Erickson Lubin, some of these guys. So we're just going to bring in a plethora of fighters that are...
Even with all the noise surrounding celebrity boxing, the sport hasn't lost its soul. There's still something timeless about fight night. Crowds coming together not just for the show, but for the history, the heart, and the respect boxing demands. Now, the clash between Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis has reignited that old fire, sparking debates across every corner of the boxing world. Brian Mendoza put it best: moments like this are part of the sport's evolution. If a fighter can draw eyes and generate excitement, then they've earned their place in the ring. At its core, boxing is a business where attention turns into opportunity, and both men have done exactly that. This fight has people talking everywhere, proving that even in a world ruled by social media and short attention spans, boxing's pulse still beats strong.
And it's crazy, but people getting paid off of it.
Yeah.
So if he can call any one of y'all out and y'all can get that payday, I say go get it, baby.
You know,
I'm not mad at it.
For me, and I'm not mad at this move at all for Tank Davis, but I think when it comes to boxing fans, there's an essence that comes with this sport, and it's an essence that hasn't been lost, unlike other sports. For an example, with football, we come from the hitting days.
Yeah.
Can't hit nowadays. You know what I mean? So boxing hasn't lost its essence. You know, they're trying to make it safer and all those sorts of things, but there's still this pureness to boxing that really doesn't exist in sports anymore. But it's still there with boxing. I think that's why people have such a problem with this kind of move from Tank Davis.
Is it more the heart? How do you guys feel being boxers?
Man, like once you hear the numbers, I'm like, they're talking, like, I don't know the official one. They're talking about like 100 mil.
Oh, damn.
Like, they're talking about these insane numbers. Like, I'm gonna be like, don't take that. I'm not gonna tell another man not to take that type of check, especially for something like that. It's not on your official record. It's an exhibition. I'm not gonna lie here and act like I'm not gonna say yes to 100 million or something like that. But I do see exactly what you're saying about the essence of boxing. I wish they would kind of separate it a little more, because exhibitions have always been a thing. There's always been an argument.
Right.
But they're just selling it like a real fight almost.
Right.
So I think that maybe if we could create a better like distinction, more of a difference,
Right.
there might be less hate on it. But at the end of the day, man, I'm not going to tell Tank not to take that fight.
And I said this last year. I said create a influencer title. And let those guys fight over there in the influencer world. They can live the world. And
The unexpected partnership between Jake Paul and Shakur Stevenson left fans stunned. Stevenson, usually the picture of calm professionalism, rarely works with crossover boxers like Jake. Yet this unlikely duo represents something new, a bridge between the old-school world of boxing and its modern, media-driven era. Many have called it odd, but the chemistry works. Jake gets to absorb the craft of one of boxing's sharpest minds, while Stevenson connects with a younger, wider audience. Their sparring sessions are said to be fierce and purposeful, proving that even the most unconventional pairings can spark real growth. In the process, they're quietly reshaping the sport, blurring the line between pure entertainment and high-level competition, showing how boxing continues to evolve in today's world.
Stevenson reached out to Jake Paul in support of him preparing for Gervonta Davis. Help me understand, what is the difference between Boots Ennis reaching out to Canelo Alvarez in support of his preparation for Terrence Crawford versus Shakur Stevenson reaching out to Jake Paul in preparation for his fight with Gervonta Davis? Tell me, what is the difference? I'll tell you what the difference is. The Ennis family actually had a relationship with Canelo Alvarez. Shakur Stevenson has no relationship with Jake Paul. None. We heard, oh, Boots is a sparring partner. How much you got paid for that? So now, isn't that also applicable to Shakur Stevenson? Is he not also a sellout? I don't want to hear anything about this fight. It's against a YouTuber, it doesn't matter. No, Shakur Stevenson is an elite level fighter that is going to be a sparring partner to a YouTuber, and he reached out to him directly?
Ever since the announcement of Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis, Shakur Stevenson hasn't stayed silent. Many assumed his presence in Jake's camp meant full support, but Stevenson's view runs deeper. He sees the fight through two lenses, business and competition. On one hand, he understands the massive attention and revenue a matchup like this can bring, the kind of buzz every boxing promoter dreams of. But on the other, he admits it strays from the sport's purest, most competitive roots. Still, Stevenson remains neutral, recognizing the opportunity without criticizing Tank's choice to take it. His calm, thoughtful response reflects real maturity, a man more interested in how boxing evolves than in choosing sides.
Opportunity, because this is prize fighting, right? It's about making money and securing your family. Can you fault him for that?
It's two sides of that. Like,
Okay.
it just depends. Like, as a fighter, just because I had a draw with somebody, for me, I may run it back. But in a business aspect, if you run it back and you lose to Lamont, and then the Jake Paul fight is presented, you may not make as much money, or the fight may not be as lucrative as it was before you lost. So as a business, I understand. I ain't going to hate on the decision, but as a man
Your
and
pride
as
will
a
get in the way.
fighter with my integrity.
Yeah, but isn't there a price for everything, Shakur? Like, even if you had a draw with somebody and you were offered 10 times more than you ever, I don't know what the number is, but it's a lot more than he's ever made. You think you might consider doing the same thing, right?
I would, but you got to also realize, I know that it's not going nowhere. Like, the
Right.
fight ain't going to go nowhere. Like, say, because if I really believe in myself,
Right.
and I wholeheartedly think, like, if we fight again, I'm going to win this fight.
That fight still be there around the
After
corner.
I beat this motherfucker, where you at?
Yeah.
The fight still there. It's not going to go nowhere. But if I have a 50-50 thought process to
doubt.
where it's like,
Right.
yeah, I got doubt in my brain, I may be like, all right, fuck it.
Also,
Let's
in his
cash
case,
out.
it might be that he's tired of fighting anyway. He's leaning towards retiring
Yeah, let's
anyway.
cash out.
So he's just gonna get.
Yeah, that's exactly how it seemed. Boxing commentators are split right down the middle on the Jake Paul versus Gervonta Tank Davis showdown. The purists call it a circus, a flashy marketing stunt that steals the spotlight from real, hard-earned boxing matches. Yet even they can't deny the truth. Fights like this pull in fresh eyes, new fans, and serious money. The irony, the same critics who slam it are also cashing in on the hype. Broadcasters, promoters, even rival fighters, all of them benefit from the buzz it creates. It's a reminder that boxing has evolved into something bigger than just the sport itself. It's part of a grander show now, one built on competition, yes, but also on personalities, rivalries, and stories that keep the world watching.
For sure, it's a lot of people that switched over now. Everybody's like, oh, I've been telling y'all, Shakur. I know y'all have not. Y'all all been quiet.
They on the bandwagon
do
now.
you actually, we talked to Virgil Ortiz, right? He told us that he be screenshotting a lot of the hate on Instagram to remember to maybe one day comment on their posts. Do you remember certain comments or posts that bother you?
I remember it, but, like, I'm not going to screenshot it. What I do, I kind of, like, if I see something, I be ready to argue it or go back and forth, but I get up and run.
But I'm
like,
talking
fuck it,
about
I'm gonna
Get
go
up and run.
run 3 miles.
It
like-
motivates you.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I'm
for
talking
sure.
about like somebody that you know in the boxing industry that you respected, that you kind of was disappointed, like, damn, like
Everybody, except for the people that's like right there with me, like the Bud Crawford. He's somebody who kind of stayed with me throughout everything, and I think he's one of the realest people in the sport of boxing. But everybody, I feel like everybody just said,
like commentators, people that hold shows,
and
or
people around me started moving different.
Like
everybody,
friends?
everybody,
Really?
everybody.
So you had to cut some people off?
Yeah, yes, I cut people
People
off.
you thought were friends.
Yes.
When you say moving different, what do you mean?
I ain't gonna like go into detail because I ain't gonna need to put everybody on the spot, but a lot of people start looking at me different. You know, social media make people think a certain image or certain things about you. Like, people I walk into every day, like, bro, I know you. I've been around you for years. You know me. So if you know me, how you feel as though that you gonna go and look at me different or treat me different than what I was already was. So
Right.
yeah.
Well, what did Turkey say after that win, like on a personal conversation? Did he say anything to you?
Nah, he just said, good job. We're gonna get you on in next.
Former UFC champion and veteran commentator Daniel Cormier didn't hold back when sharing his thoughts on the matchup, calling it far less exciting than other fights Tank Davis could take. In Cormier's eyes, Tank has already proved everything he needs to. He doesn't have to chase spectacle-driven bouts for relevance. Unlike fighters hungry for a big payday, Davis already has both wealth and legacy, making this clash feel unnecessary. Still, Cormier's take highlights a deeper divide among combat sports veterans. Some see crossover fights as good exposure, while others believe they dilute the sport's purity. Yet, ironically, Cormier's own criticism only adds fuel to the fire, stirring even more curiosity and keeping the buzz alive around a fight that refuses to leave the headlines.
Dean, that's bad. Because you know what that tells me? That tells me that even he recognizes that he's too big for him.
Yes.
He recognizes that he's too big for him.
I'm wondering how this even came about. It can't be that Gervonta Davis needs money. That can't be the reason why
He's been a world
taking this fight.
champion so recently. How could he be broke?
That's what I'm saying. Like, is he doing this for money? And then why and how is even Jake Paul doing this when no one respects it? Like, I can't think of anybody that respects this.
But Jake Paul has been able to carve out and make his own lane in boxing, and I've never seen anything like it, bro. He literally, I mean, we don't know what weight class he fights in any situation. We just don't know. He kind of makes his own rules.
He makes his own rules.
And it seems like people are playing by those rules. I remember a couple weeks ago, the WBC and the Jose Suleiman was very upset that he wasn't going to be able to put the belt on the winner at Canelo versus Crawford. That's the thing that's happened since the beginning of the time. Those guys are very powerful in boxing. But with Zuffa boxing, it was almost like that power was getting stripped away. They were very disappointed. But how can you take those sanctioning organizations seriously when they are sanctioning this?
That's my point. That's my point. That's why I think that this whole thing that we have, this boxing and this MMA argument and Zuffa getting into boxing, our argument is misplaced because things like this should not be happening. And the fact that boxing is allowing this to happen is an embarrassment to the sport.
Yeah, I don't understand why. I talked about this before. Like, I didn't know why they were fighting because, I mean, Gervonta Davis's last fight was at 130.
Inside the boxing world, the idea of Shakur Stevenson facing Gervonta Davis is viewed as the real test of greatness. Both men possess razor-sharp technique, unshakable focus, and world-class experience. Their clash would be a masterclass, a showcase of defense, precision, timing, and pure ring IQ. Fans understand that while Jake Paul brings the spectacle, Stevenson versus Davis is boxing in its truest form. That contrast matters because it proves the sport can still balance entertainment with authenticity. The growing excitement for Stevenson-Davis showdown reminds everyone that real talent still commands attention, even in an era dominated by celebrity matchups and viral moments.
We have Tank to get a couple of the belts, and you have a undisputed fight for those two in Las Vegas, in America, between two American guys getting undisputed championship of the world. That would be a mega fight. And we're talking about two guys that you have the most dominant, persistent, powerful guy, pound for pound powerful guy, I should say, in Tank, who also is very good defensively. But then you're fighting the best defensive fighter in the entire world, in my opinion. That is a fight I would love to see happen. I would be a big fan of, but I think if we could let that kind of fester and develop for a little bit, and we get that fight, summertime next year, fall of next year, where this is an undisputed fight, I think that's the fight we would love to see have happen. I would be all for that. And I think it's realistic. Like I said, I don't think Tank's losing to anybody except for possibly Shakur, and I don't think Shakur's losing to anybody except for possibly Tank.
Former world champion Tim Bradley has shared his thoughts on Shakur Stevenson's career path, suggesting that Shakur doesn't need to chase a fight with Gervonta Davis unless it truly adds value to his legacy. Bradley pointed out that Stevenson already holds world titles and respect in the sport, and if he questions Tank's accomplishments, then the matchup may not make strategic sense. His insight reflects the precision that defines elite boxing careers, where timing, matchmaking, and legacy all intertwine. Bradley also emphasized that Stevenson's focus should stay on dominance, not unnecessary rivalries, because his skill already speaks volumes. Meanwhile, the rise of crossover boxing, fueled by stars like Jake Paul, has reshaped the sport's landscape. Traditionalists might push back, but the impact is undeniable. These events draw millions of new viewers and younger fans who might never have tuned in otherwise. Promoters, networks, and sponsors are cashing in, revitalizing the boxing economy. In many ways, the sport's survival in the digital era depends on figures who blend entertainment with true athleticism. That's why Jake Paul's role goes beyond personal ambition. He's become part of boxing's evolution, helping it adapt and thrive in today's media-driven world.
So on and so forth. So, with that being said, why even want to entertain the fight with Tank Davis? I mean, how much credit are you going to really get, Shakur, besides the money, right? That's what Tank brings. He brings interest. He brings a lot of fans in the seats, you know. But as far as legacy goes, if people are holding Tank at a very low status, what, do you need him? Do you really need him? How you doing, man? Good morning. Do you really need him? Because I personally don't think that you need him, you know. Shakur, you should be here to create your own legacy, you know. You're about the competition. You are about that bread as well. And I think it's important for you to really look at the landscape, man, of boxing and see where your big money fights are, you know, besides Tank Davis. As you know, you hear through the grapevine, I think he even told you on X that, you know, he's contemplating retirement after this Jake Paul fight. You know, you're getting ready, hopefully, if Teofimo Lopez signs the contract, Shakur, to be fighting Teofimo Lopez, who has accomplished quite a bit in the sport, man, and has been in the ring with some legends, Josh Taylor, also Lomachenko. I think that type of fight makes sense. You know, going up to 140 pounds, getting.
And that's a wrap for today's video. Stay tuned, because things in the boxing world are only getting more intense.